Morning and welcome back to my channel. Today I am taking a break from my junk journaling and I wanted to kind of be in my craft room, but I didn't really know what to do with myself in here, so I decided to grab the thrifted pad that I have in my stash. It's just like an old studio sketch pad. And it had a few sheets left in it, so I decided to turn them into masterboards. So these are quite large. These are probably 11 inches by, I don't know, maybe 16. Let's check actually. 11 and a half by about 17 actually. So they'd be roughly the size of a tabloid piece of paper. And as you can see, I've just taken book page scraps. These are scrapbook paper, but they're the really thin stuff, like the stuff that you get in the Michaels pads, or even the stuff that you get at the dollar store. And I've got some stamping on some, like they're very rough. And then that's the back. So essentially what I'm going to do today is I'm going to put these aside because these can obviously be used for more franken paper and also for journal covers. So I'm just going to set that aside. And the plan today is simply to go through and cut these up and see what I end up with. So I will just grab my paper trimmer and I'll be right back. I have several trimmers in my craft space. This is probably the one that I use the most. It's the Tonic Studios Guillotine Trimmer. Not sponsored, but yeah, I tend to use this one more than most of my other trimmers because I find that it's quite reliable. And I have one of those little Fiskars trimmers where you have to replace the blades, and because of, you know, the thickness of some of the things that I cut, it can be quite tricky. So my plan is I'm going to cut this down into a few different sizes. Most of the journals that I make end up being like letter journals, and what I mean by that is the pages and signatures in them tend to be anywhere between 5.5 or 6 inches wide. So I'm going to cut these down into, let's do this one, 3 by 5. And then this one. So we're going to have some 4 by 6s. And that one's not quite 4 by 6. And we'll do some 3 by 5. I kind of like this one for maybe tags. And if you really don't want to worry about what's on this side, just flip your paper. I'm just kind of arbitrarily cutting. I'll cut this one into smaller tags. And that's basically what I do with these. So I will do the rest off camera and I'll be right back. So I've ended up cutting all, I think it was 4 masterboards, and I wanted to kind of show you the sizes that I tend to cut things into just to make my life easier. Journal covers. So if there's a large focal image there, I cut this one to 6 inches by 8 inches. Another really common size for me to use is 4x6 postcards that I'll likely stamp and do some things to on the back. I also usually like to round the corners of these, so I'm going to set these guys aside. Index cards are great for some of your smaller journals and even for tuck spots and things. So these I tend to try to keep around 3.5 by 5.5 inches, sometimes a little bigger, sometimes a little smaller. They can be easily adjusted. Anything that's kind of got a squarish look, I tend to keep for tuck spots and pockets and just little things that I can slide tags and things into in a journal. Another really common size is 3 inch by 4 inch. So you could also cut things into 4x6 and then just cut them in half vertically like that. And then a lot of the other little pieces and odds and ends I just keep as tags. So I am going to pick a few and I will transform them on screen. Oh, and I forgot, belly bands. These are great for the long, narrow strips. These could also, of course, be cut down and turned into tags, but belly bands are an easy way to use up these little, like, 1 inch wide strips. So I'm going to take a few and I'm going to show you what my next step usually is. So I will do some corner rounding and I'll be right back. I have been working on my Christmas in July stash. So I just grabbed my little container of die cuts and random bits and pieces. And I threw a couple of things on these little cards. So you can see with them inked and ready to go, I could leave this blank. I just feel like having this much complete means I'm more likely to use them. Something else you can do is use any cluster embellishments that you've made. These actually happen to have been gifted to me. I love that she used a seed package for that. So smart. So yeah, you can kind of throw a cluster embellishment on. And just like that, done. So I'm actually going to anchor that one down. I love having little cluster embellishments like this at the ready for this reason. It's a quick card, it's a quick journal embellishment. So there you go. Like, it looks like I spent a long time on it, and because I did the franken paper and then this was a gifted cluster, it took about 30 seconds. So I kind of like this one for this. I do want to leave that garden word. Maybe I'll cover this. Yeah. This would also be a great little tuck spot too. Something to keep in mind. I didn't ink these yet, but I can do that after. Like that. Actually kind of like this one as a tuck spot. The really wonderful thing about using book pages is they kind of go with every style and every kind of occasion. And of course, you know, you can pick embellishments that go with the theme of your journal. And you can use up some of the larger die cuts as well, like this. Or some of these kinds of die cuts. Actually, kind of like that one there. So even if your embellishments aren't really in like the junk journal theme of things, it's okay, because a little bit of ink and some strategically placed die cuts, and you can make it all look very intentional. There we go, another one done. Kind of like this one here actually, and maybe as a tuck spot. So there we go. In very little time, I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 index cards. And you can actually add other little finishing touches on here too, like stitching, tabs. I like to add tabs to things. Let's see if I've got any. I have scraps on my desk, so I'm kind of looking through them. Let's go with some tabs. This is also a great way to use up some of your scraps. There, we'll just do 3 for now. One of them went flying and I don't know where it went. Okay, so that's one way to use up a masterboard. Cutting it into 4x6. Could we put this here? And again, you can go through and ink and stitch and do all the things that you enjoy doing. If you don't have a sewing machine, of course, you can always go around with a thin pen or Sharpie and give it the look of sewing lines. There we go. There's one done. So I will put a couple more tabs on here and I will be back with the next size. Moving into the next size. So these are the roughly 3.5 by 5.5. And just like I did on my previous ones, you can grab some of your embellishments and throw them on. I actually kind of like that. In this particular envelope, I've just got magazine cutouts of flowers. I save a lot of my seed catalogs and stuff that some of the local nurseries send me. Let's try this. Here we go. As you can see here, this is just a whole bunch of different little die cuts. A lot are actually not little. And some of them are even pages from magazines that I backed with book page and then I cut out. And then I just kind of threw them all in this envelope. I recently started organizing my embellishments like this, where I've got an envelope for flowers, an envelope for butterflies, etc. And it seems to be working pretty well so far without me having to buy a whole bunch of extra storage. So the goal of these kinds of cards and tags is to be kind of journaling spots on the back, but you could easily put a photo or something here. Or do as I'm doing, which is turning a lot of them into little tuck spots. Here we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This one needs something. 4, 5, 6 index cards. Done. I'm going to do the same with maybe my journal cards. Yeah. So these are the ones that are 3 by 4. And I mean, you could make these very busy. Right now I'm just kind of keeping them flat because I don't know how I'm going to end up using them in a journal. This one's got like a little pockety thing. And then do we want another pockety thing? Yes. This is a great way to use up some of your larger embellishments too, as you can see. There we go. 1, 2, 3 journal cards. What else can we do? What about tags? I love making tags. And if you've already got a couple of tags in your stash, you can just use them to create the edges and the corners, which is what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to turn these all into tags and I will be right back. So we've got some different tags here, and of course for this you're going to want to use maybe some of your smaller embellishments if you don't want the die cuts and things to stick out beyond the edges of the tag. Kind of like that. So I'm going to go through and do some more. And I'm kind of feeling like I don't really want to work with the Christmas right now. I'm kind of feeling like I want to use some of my flowery bits. So I will go through this and I will put you on fast forward while I do it. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. What is your go-to thing to get your crafty mojo going? For me, it has always been tags. I just love how small the space is, and you can start and finish quite a few in a fairly short amount of time. And I tend to use them in journals. I even use them as tag toppers card toppers pretty frequently, and of course as gift tags. But since I've started junk journaling, I feel like this has been my go-to DIY embellishment. especially because you can use so many different things and upcycle so many different things. You can use cards and die cut those and just use all of your cereal boxes and all kinds of things. So let me know in the comments down below if you want me to do another dedicated video for tags and upcycling, and I will do that. And if tags aren't your thing, let me know what your thing is. So here I am just sticking and plonking and putting things together, picking out some of the smaller little pieces out of this envelope. There's washi stickers in there, there's tags, there's all kinds of things. There's acetate. I think I found these packs at Michael's on clearance last summer. And I got quite a few of them. And a lot of them are just really odd embellishments. Like there's one in there that looks like a great big piece of broccoli that I end up putting on a tag. But great way to use up some things. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cut this guy. 9, 10, 11 tags. And again, that did not take very long. So I think I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to tidy up my desk and we'll go over what we made today. So today we made some 4x6 postcard size journal spots from that masterboard kind of feel like maybe I should start a botanical themed journal now. These ones were the 3x4 size cards. These were the index cards. And I will likely add layers to these once I figure out which journal they're going to go in and where. And we also made some layered tags. All right, so that is where I'm going to leave you. Tomorrow, maybe we will tackle tuck spots, journal covers, and belly bands. All right, friends, as always, thanks for coming to hang out with me today, and I will see you next video. Bye for now.